ID data check. And this is effectively a little button you can turn on, and then you'll get the normal warning as always. The same warning is always there, but then once you try to open the booking detector, there's a little attention box that pops up that takes a note, and you have to type something in there. And then if someone doesn't type something there, you can fire them, warn them, and if they put a nice reason, you know why they did a duplicate, which sometimes have good reasons to do. Have you ever, do you always open the booking, change that to patient, and then search on patient? Well, there's a nice little default setting. There's a lot of default settings that people don't always tell you about. That will just make your life a little bit easier if you use that. Again, some people want to search on the main account, some people want to search on the patient. If you're a pediatrician, main account is often the thing you're going to be searching on. But if you're a GP or something else, you might often search on patient. Express bookings, this is a bit of a higher risk one. What this does is, this is really for if you want the clinician at night to open the file, but you know they're not going to do it right. So what you do is you turn it on, there's only a patient log. They have to capture a couple of fields there. Once they click OK, it will either match the right patient or it will open the patient incorrectly. And it'll just default it to private patient, and someone has to come at night and fix it, out of the next morning and fix it. Often useful in ERs, where you don't have admin staff at night. CRM. If you don't use this, but you do advertise, you turn that on and you set up a list, and then your bookings will have a little drop down. Where did this patient hear from you? Do they live close by? Do they work close by? Was it word of mouth? Why do they arrive? Why are they here? Is it a campaign? Did they hear you talk on radio? Whatever. This is handy if you mark it. Booking verification, I spoke about a bit earlier, but effectively there's a little green smiley face, and then there's the setting. You can just go search for verification in the settings, you turn it on, and then there's the verify button, and like you saw earlier, you can add a reason. This is good to visually be able to verify that your whole diary has been verified. We know the people are the right people. If you're not using booking reminders, then that's really actually bad on us, we should be setting it up. But there are power in booking reminders that you sometimes want to do the same thing for your whole entity, and you can do that. But then maybe you have Botox, and you want to override on Botox to send a specific Botox consent form or a specific Botox questionnaire. This you can do on booking type, and that is a very powerful feature that then allows you to send emails, SMSs, and do the whole shit.
Okay, let's go through. As Kobus said, we are going to rush a bit just to give time to the other people. Let's start with the clinical case or the clinical screen setup. There's basically two things that we think help people a lot that some people don't set up as well. There's the easy events. This is, if you don't know, it's that there. If you come into your clinical screen and every time you have to click on the forms library and select the script, because you do a lot of scripts, you don't have to do that. You only really need to go into your full forms library for an ad hoc event or a form that you do once in a while. For everything, all the forms that you do every day, set up some easy events. It has a little drop down next to it if there's multiple templates on that form, and you can straight select that template. You don't have to click on the forms library, select the script, and then apply the template. So set up your most used forms as easy events. User entity settings, easy events. You can see in this accordion, you tick what you need. Then script, templates, macros, and favorites. It's basically, the script template is just as if you use form templates already, the script template is the ability to template the whole script. And this is really useful if you know that you do a certain script all the time. Give the script a name, add the whole composition of script lines on that script, and use that every time. Just select it on as an easy, like from the easy events drop down. Select it straight. If you do the same one every day, set it up like that. Then you have macros, which is just one step smaller. It's not a template of the whole script, but it is a template of a group of script lines. So it's almost similar. There's a few differences. You can set up a script macro to only belong to one treating practitioner. So let's say a certain treating practitioner always prescribes this 5 things and another one does that. Or maybe you do set up a global macro, that's also good, and you can just select that macro. When you type in the script line, it will search just like all the items, but it will be right at the top in a different color. And you select that thing and it will auto-populate all 6 lines in the macro, for example. Then even smaller than that is if you really like a certain script item that you usually prescribe, and you have a description, directions, and the quantity and repeat, and all of these, even the settings in the expanded part that you have set up on a certain, let's say, Bernardo on this item, and you don't want to retype that every time you use this one because you do use it a lot. When you have it once filled in, click on the green arrow, it will pop up a small little screen. You just give it a name that's familiar to you. When you search again for Bernardo or anything, or that name specifically, that item will be right at the top in green. So next to the macros, which are in blue, I think. Then some other handy script settings. It's basically just some defaults and then the inline history. So if you work with the script and you have seen these checkboxes at the top, which just change the usability of the script. So you will have include consumables, yes or no, while you search. Minimal or expanded script just expands all the lines or none of it. Repeatable script and manual override. You can set these as defaults on your settings so that every script you come in, it will be already ticked. So if you tick one every time, go set it up in the defaults. Custom form templates, this is basically questionnaires. So if you don't know, but I'm pretty sure 90% of people that need it, does use it. Our FCLs have a lot of knowledge about this. They can help you set it up. These are questionnaires that you send out to patients, and I think what most people don't know is, and it's not on the slide here, is you can have this questionnaire set up with scoring, and as they fill in the thing, it can generate a score, and you can have that score as a green, orange, or yellow mark on every booking as the patients fill in these questionnaires at home. So that these questionnaires are literally filled in on my GC before that patient walks into your door. If you need to find out anything, if you don't know about this, if you don't use it, come to the dev room or clinical table. Examination form template or the IVAL template, more for the ophthalmologist, is a blank template to make a clinical form just the way you want it. So you can start this out with absolutely nothing. It's a blank slate. You add inputs in text, numbers. It can have drop downs with different fills on it. You set up everything in little collapsible sections, the names that you give it. You can have split sections, so that's there's left and right. You can have auto copy forwards, so that when you open up a form again in the future, one part of the form is already filled in from the previous thing. Lots of power in this. If you need any help, come to the clinical table dev room so we can show you how. And like I said, it starts out empty. You build the form you want. So just some examples. You build a select list. That's that. These are the options. There's number inputs. As you can see, this is our split sections. You can have image assessments where you open up the form. There's already an image at a certain place. You can draw on it. All of this works really well with the patient dashboard, which Kobus talked about. And there's more patient dashboard.
So we did mention the patient dashboard just a couple of minutes ago, but if you do not have one, this is probably the most important feature that you can have set up to make your life better. You can have values in tables over date ranges. You can have values charted over time. You can have images drawn for left or right or whatever over time. And this really, if you're not doing this, you probably need to be doing this. And things like text notes, and you set all this up in effectively a form where you can pick a group, and then you can give it a color, and then as you back there for a second. You can actually the color, border, and the name of it. Facial as maybe assessment needs to be I'm just realizing now.
I have to check your dog to know.
And you can also, these things you can make available to the whole entity or just to yourself. So you can have your own dashboard because you do things a certain way. Or maybe you have a nurse and a doctor, and the nurse will have a very different view on these things. Might want to check follow-up items, might want to check vitals. The doctor might want to check something else. So this is really, really powerful. Now on the patient file, there are things that we never set up, but in the patient file settings, in the entity settings, you have quick filters. If you're not setting this up, you really should be. This, you just click plus, you pick a color for it, you give it a name, and then you select which events or which templates you want to see. Now, if you made a Botox template, you can click Botox custom form and it'll only spit out the Botox custom form. Or more, you can have multiples, you can color code it, and then the other thing which people never set up is you can set up the color of these items based on the type and the template. If you're not doing this, you're removing a lot of the visual quick setup, and again, this is an entity settings. You'll see there's types of colors, and then you can either do it like Botox or the subform.
That was a cool feature.
This needs to be done.
That was like easy to.
It will change your life. You will spend
a lot of
3 hours thinking about it, and then you'll have lower memory load every single time you open a patient file. Stupid to not do it. Please do it. It will help you. Stickers. And I did mention this earlier, so I'm going to skim across this, but you can set up procedure codes that trigger them and ICD-10 codes, and then you build this up yourself. We will help you, but you effectively add a new sticker, diabetes mellitus. You say the default is registered PMB. Then you go set that up, you give it a color. You can say, I want this thing to change state after 7 days, or I want to add a task, this template, from when we change to this state at 7 days. So you can have this thing change statuses over time. You can have this thing send emails over time. You can have this thing even do things like look at the booking. So one of these drop downs on that is booking days. So you can say, if the person has not made a booking, send them an email after 90 days. If they've not made a booking after 95 days, send them another email. If they make a booking, the count is reset, and it'll just keep pushing them on. And if you get to 100 days, you can schedule a task and send it to someone. This is really, really nice to make the follow-up effectively no work. The patient will get an email, the patient will go to the online booking system, the patient will do the work.
They have said this before. I remember.
Why not?
Or
maybe you just want to go encode some info, like having a nicely color-coded diabetes mellitus, and you can encode all kinds of things there. Is it controlled, is it not, that you change the meds, and it's if you are not using tasks, but if you have more than, I want to say 3 people in the practice, this becomes a really nice way of dishing out work. You can do this from stickers, you can do this from the examination and the IEVAL, where they literally at the end is a bunch of tasks, you can click it and assign it to people. And there's actually, you can directly on the task screen, click on the little new task and assign something to someone. Don't forget things, don't increase your mental load, it's stupid, it doesn't have to be. And you can assign these things, you know, this is all templatable, you can give it little colors, you can put it on your diary if you like. There's just so much you can do with this. Please use it, it's there, it's free. Like, why pay? And you build templates where you can dish out standard tasks. This is just, it's worthwhile. Templates. As much as there are templates for custom forms and examinations, everything is templatable, and then you've got this little drop down at the top where you can choose. Now you go to the wheel, the green one, to workflow events, and there you can add, and you know, this is our SMS and email templates. Do spend some time writing good email and SMS templates. We have good pre-built ones. You can build your own, but if you're communicating properly to your patient, the chances of being paid does increase. We can actually see, based on the kind of SMSs and payment links, we can see some people get all the clicks and other people do it. And the only difference is the message. So this is something to just spend some time on. Almost everything in our system is templatable. And the reason is, once you've built the template, and if you do something repeat, like practices, you don't often install pipes, unless you're making it. I don't know how that works, but if you're not doing electricity for people, you are working with human beings. You have treatment protocols. You have people owing you money. You have people coming for certain things. It is, the scope is limited. Templates solve that. Billing macros. So I'm rushing a bit, but these are things that you should know about. If you've not seen billing macros before, if you ever bill more than one code, ask, they can set up a billing macro. You give it a code, you give it a description, and you load all the items. You can actually load a couple of items here, and then delete the ones. It's often faster to add 10 and delete 5 than picking 5 out of a list. You can actually make it choosable. You can override prices. It really is quite powerful. Please play with it. We will most likely be able to help solve one of your problems. And if it ends up you add 4 and you delete 1, that's still a lot of time saved. Enhance with AI, that's pretty much going to have that guy give the keynote in a couple of seconds. When you set this up, you pick what will be in that same little green place where you set up the templates. You literally set up whether you want what you want to include. Do we include the clinical events, audio events, whatnot, and then you add the fields. You put in your prompts there. You tell the AI, this is an IOP. I want you to add the number. This is a blood pressure. It's a systolic blood pressure, and I want you to put only the number here, and then it will put only the number there. And if you say 5,000, it will probably not put it there. It will realize that it is rubbish that you said. They're quite good at it. You can actually do things like say, hey, this patient is 42, and then it will look at the date of birth of it. No, it is 43. They're really kind of useful idiots. You have to think of them as, people think of them as being alive when you write the prompts. And like you're talking to a person, it's not true. What you need to know is these things are trained.
It's almost done now. It's like 2 minutes.
So text that it has seen and the text that is followed are things that it understands. So if an existing text where someone says, only look at these notes and then extract something. That's quite a common thing we actually see on tests that we give students. And if you write in that fashion, don't say it, people will say, don't lie. It's not lying. Tell it, only look at the scope of that. And then answer within that scope. And if you feel you are beyond the scope, rather say nothing. Or rather say unclear. Very important. Okay, but he is going to do a lot of that, and I'm taking his, but there's just an example of a subnet. Eventually, everything in our system will be templated. And I think that is going to be very, very nice. And then lastly, if you ever do hospital rounds, you've got a nice tool for this. And it's not used widely, because I think it is a bit of a specialist thing. But you can set up a nice list. If you've got your service center set up, you can actually put in the bed where the person is, who's the practitioner seeing them. You can add a whole team. You can add the billing codes that you will bill at 0109 or whatever it is. You can quickly click. There's actually easy events at the bottom where you can quickly see, I've seen these. This one I've not seen. I've missed them for about a year. It's not good. And you can discharge the patient, and you can very quickly not just write notes, but you can post an invoice. And in that way, you can really quickly do your list. Okay, guys, I'm going to hand over.
Klik net gauw nog een keer deur.
Sorry.
Nog een?
No. Oh, yeah, okay. Scan this QR code.
Yeah.
And fill in what you want. So, while Clinton is preparing, we are trying to get to a point where we can help you guys implement things. We know it is hard to change. We know you come in and you see a bunch of stuff, and then if it's not implemented immediately, you kind of forget about it at the time. So the idea is you fill in here on a Google form what you want implemented, and we're going to try and give that to your HCL to work out a plan, not for a month, but for more like a year. So that we can, rather than trying to force a bunch of things in immediately, put in a slow rolling change where we can every 2 months add one more thing, and so that we don't forget. Because you will forget, and we will forget, and we'll all go on with our lives, and we'll all be fine. But it'd be so much cooler if we could do all the cool things. So, yes, they are available. Just ask at the
Reporting app.
Bubble. Oh, yes, reporting app. We have a talk on the reporting app. We have a new sub-app for the reports, which are coming along nicely. It is coming along nicely. We can pivot, well, not yet pivot things, but we can group by and export, and there will at some point possibly be little charts and things. So go sit in that talk, or go find the reports people, and if there's a Barku, a guy named Barku, shout at him, tell him what you need. He'll be excited for it. Okay. Thank you.
stuff.
Perfect. Thank you, Kobus. Thank you, Jacques. We're going to move right along, and our next is talking about AI. It's not ChatGPT, and it's not your kid's homework, but this man certainly respects AI. Always says please before putting a command. So over to Clinton Forrester for something mind-blowing in AI. Thank you, Clinton.
Gooi al die gemors en dan kan ek nie my rekenaar neersit nie.
Right. You guys can all hear me? All right.